Stephen A. Smith is upset and very angry. He's mad at Kevin Hart because of the roast that went on the Kevin Hart roast that everybody's talking about all around the world. But Stephen A. Smith is angry because he was mentioned in the roast. And he felt like he thought that him and Kevin Hart was friends. He's had Kevin Hart on First Take on the show, right? Now, Kevin Hart, he's been aired out by a lot of different people over the years, right? Right, calling him a sellout, say he would do anything for money, but we already know Stephen A. Snitch. And Stephen A. Snitch now is trying to expose Kevin Hart. But how can a known sellout, a known raccoon, go and expose somebody else?
The roast of Kevin Hart special on Netflix. Kevin Hart made a pointed joke about his personal Mount Rushmore of racism. A list of people he claims hate black people. Alongside Shane Gillis, Kid Rock, Hulk Hogan, Kevin Hart included my name. Stephen A. Smith. Quote, my Mount Rushmore of racism when it comes to hating black people is Shane Gillis, Kid Rock, Hulk Hogan, Stephen A. Smith. Those are my four people when it comes to hating black people. Or at least I thought I had a pretty good relationship with Kevin Hart. It's been on my show on many occasions. I've known him for years. I don't know. I've taken a lot of heat because of perceived positions that I may have had. And as a result, you've had some people from the Democratic Party who don't know that I'm aware of the steps and the links that they've been willing to go through to silence me, even though I'm somebody that has religiously voted Democrat and I support most Democratic views.
So the funny part is Stephen A. Smith has the mitigated gall and audacity to be shocked and act like he don't understand why he's on that list. Stephen A. Smith has went out of his way to always disrespect black people, go against the narrative of what black people is doing for his bosses. He's proudly done it and said that he doesn't care, right? He's disrespected black men. He's, listen, Stephen A. Snitch, right? He'll go and say, well, I know how racist it is, and I don't want us to get in trouble. So I try to get out in front of a lot of these black athletes and try to warn them, right? Even the situation with Jaylen Brown, when he said that Jaylen Brown was a good guy, never got in trouble, was a stand-up guy, a good athlete, good for the NBA. He said, but the people on Wall Street and Fifth Avenue got a problem with his attitude. You know what he did? He brought smoke to Jaylen Brown instead of the people on Fifth Avenue. Right? That's why you on that list, because you a sellout, right? So he went on to try to explain and try to expose Kevin Hart, right?
Kevin Hart may have been telling a joke. It may have been the latest tasteless one that he told. I have no issue with the joke if it was a joke. If it wasn't a joke, I still wouldn't have an issue with it. I have an issue with the fact that it came from him. Somebody that I kind of know a little bit, that I got a lot of love and respect for. And at a time in my life, knowing I've spent my life fighting on behalf of my community, that people try to continue this narrative about me that I know is false, but that nevertheless still hurts to hear out of the mouth of anyone who knows me. I could respond more vitriolically, but I won't. More incendiary, but I won't. Because Kevin Hart has never once in his lifetime did anything to me that deserves that. And he's too good of a brother and too good of a human being for me to even consider doing something like that. But it stung. Didn't sting quite as much as a few people who I thought were my friends and loved ones that turned their back.
Now, the thing is, he's so dramatic and fake, right? This dude is just so fake. Now, the thing is this: we seen him. He's befriended Sean Hannity. He's brought all these radical right-wing conservatives on his show. And see, he's not like us grassroots where he criticizes the Democratic Party, but we don't rock with Republicans either. He's rocking with them. They his friends, right? He's in that tax bracket over there with them. But he's trying to fraud, right? He's trying to fraud. Now, when Kevin Hart did the Breakfast Club interview, Kevin Hart said this.
My rebuttal is simplicity. Remove me from it. I didn't say it. If you are upset that the night went on, that's a different conversation. It's nothing I can do. It's a production. It's a live production.
They also said that you saw the jokes beforehand. So you green.
Why am I reading jokes beforehand?
I don't
You
so
the
I
boss.
can
That's
not
what people
laugh,
think.
so I can be in the chair.
You're in charge.
Yeah, you're in charge, so people think that everything falls back on you.
You're never guarding, like you're not acting as a know-all and do-all at the top. Comedians, I need to see everything y'all doing before y'all. That's not what comics do. No comics operate like that. Mm-hmm. So from Pete to Naeem to Big J to Cheryl to Chelsea, Jeff Ross.
Now, on that, remember all the stuff was said that Kevin Hart had already knew what the jokes was going to be when they came out. And Kevin Hart in the Breakfast Club said, that's not how comedians get down. I didn't know none of these jokes, right? It was production. I had no clue on what they was going to say before they said it. So, like, let's stop the malarkey here. Let's stop all this, right? That's what he said, right? Now, Stephen A. Snitch, right? And ways of getting back at Kevin Hart for what Kevin Hart said that that's hogwash, that's bullcrap. You ran a production, you had all the power, you knew what was going to be said, right? You knew this, and you didn't, and you allowed it to happen. So this is his way of poking back at Kevin Hart for Kevin Hart putting him in the joke.
For me, my thinking stopped at the 18 removed jokes. See, I'm an executive producer. I executive produce First Take. I executive produce my Sirius XM shows. I executive produce shows on my YouTube channel. I'm not watching every little thing because I have producers who work under me. And sometimes when stuff is happening in real time, you know what? I'm not there to catch it. I trust that they will. But if I'm watching something, I certainly have the power to make sure that it's edited out. I can tell you that much. And if Kevin Hart, as the executive producer, had the power to edit stuff out, which he did, and you left those jokes in, but you took out the Melania Trump joke, we got a problem. I don't know whether that's true or not. I'm taking D.L. Hughley at his word because I didn't watch the whole episode. But I'm taking D.L. Hughley at his word, and he would know. This is his lane. Being a comedian, being a star comedian for many years, knowing the industry and what comes with it, knowing the particulars that what comes with it, I'm going to trust him on this one. The fact of the matter is, if you left that stuff in about George Floyd, left that stuff in about Cheryl Underwood's husband, left that stuff in about slavery and what have you, but you took out Melania Trump. What's that about? So you worried about the reaction from Donald Trump and how he might believe something is tasteless, but you're not concerned about the black community and how they would feel about things as it pertains to George Floyd, slavery jokes, Cheryl Underwood's husband committing suicide with her right there on stage, etc. That's where it gets a bit deeper. To me, that's the most salient point that was put out there. That's the biggest point that was made. Of all the people that complained and all the people that got something to say, the bigger point is the point that D.L. Hughley made. A roast is a roast. Kevin Hart's absolutely right. And you got to expect to be offended. He's absolutely right. And you got to expect that some of the material ain't going to be easy to take. He's absolutely right. He's absolutely right. But if you edited out 18 jokes, how come it couldn't have been 19? How come it couldn't have been 20? How come it couldn't have been 21? 2 or 3 of those jokes getting removed of all the they were saying. That's where it gets a bit deeper. And that's where I think people have a right to be in an uproar over the George Floyd jokes, over the slavery jokes.
Now, we know Tony Hinchcliffe is a piece of crap, right? And Kevin Hart, in my opinion, he had the power to stop that. He didn't have to allow that to happen, right? We know why they did that, and we know what's going on in this country right now. And all this stuff is political theater. I keep telling y'all, do not trust these athletes and entertainers. It's political theater. We know that. Kevin Hart sold out, right? It is what it is. He lives in that big mansion. He got that 6-foot girlfriend, right? Racially ambiguous girlfriend. You know, he's living the life and they're paying him to do it. He's been called out by comedians and all that. He could have vetoed that if he wanted to. He didn't want to. Now he's taking heat for it, and he knows that black people will be bad for a minute, then they'll go away. Next year they'll love him again. That's just the way it goes. But Stephen A. Snitch, listen, man, he wasn't wrong when he called you out either. When he called you, what he called you, right? So this is it's just what it is, y'all. Listen to what I'm telling y'all. I'm telling y'all, man, this is political theater, right? And this is what they do, right? A lot of us, you know, we do this kind of content because they create the content for us to do it, and we bring it to the people, right? It's just sellouts amongst sellouts. He let that dude Tony come up there, man, and do that. And we know all day about Stephen A. Snitch and what Stephen A. Snitch has allowed over the years, right? So who is he to call out anybody? Stephen A. Snitch. He is the ultimate sellout. If Kevin Hart is a sellout, Stephen A. Snitch is Stephen A. Snitch is Clarence Thomas' brother, right? So, like, come on, man. Like, this stuff is just a joke. But y'all gotta let me know what y'all think, man. What's y'all opinion on this, man? Stephen A. Snitch trying to expose Kevin Hart, right? Y'all let me know what y'all think, man. If you made it this far in the video, hit that like button. Subscribe to Street Media TV. Leave your comments in the comment section. Remember, I love y'all. Till the next time. Peace.